Welcome back, everyone. This is the Week 6 video review for coaches and officials of the ODAC and USA South Conferences. Let's keep getting better each week. On to the videos. On this first play, we're going to talk about free kick coverage. Our short wing is going to be highlighted on this film, as you see at the top of the screen. On this play, we have a muffed kick by the receiving team on a free kick. That means we're going to wind our clock as the receiving team member continues to pursue the ball. We're going to hold our goal line position until our runner has clearly exited the end zone, and we're going to patiently move upfield and mark the end of the run and kill the clock. On this play, however, we do miss something, and what we miss is this fair catch signal by our receiving team member well before the ball is in this area. Now, at short wings, I know we have zones of coverage that are way in front of this receiver, but at this point in the play, we don't have to look at anyone else but the receiver. There are no players that are directly interfering with one another, so there are very few opportunities to find a foul looking upfield. Let's pay attention to our receivers in case they give either a valid or invalid fair catch signal. Referees, you can help with this too, as since you're moving to the position where the ball is coming down, you may be able to pick up on this fair catch signal. Now, a word of advice. Anytime we have a fair catch signal on a kick play, the ball is going to become dead by rule when either team recovers it. So, had Team A picked up this ball, they cannot advance the kick. It's going to be dead. When Team B picks up this ball, they can't advance the kick because we either have a valid or invalid fair catch signal on the play. So, if you remember that rule, you'll be in good shape. Returning to our sideline view, let's review what our short wing should have done on this play. When this ball is touched, we're still in the field of play, which is going to be a reason to start winding the clock. However, when this ball gets picked up by our Team B player, we're going to kill the play. The ball becomes dead by rule, and since we have a kick that ends in the end zone, we're going to award a touchback to Team B. On a kickoff, we'll be able to put that ball at the 25-yard line, and Team B will have the option to choose the lateral position 1 through 5 on that 25-yard line. Let's make sure we're communicating with our sidelines and our crews so we can get these plays right. On this play, let's talk about enforcing a PSK foul. So at the top of the screen here, we're going to end up with a takedown hold. This gunner is currently entrenched in a double team block. And even though it's a double team block and we have a higher threshold for a holding foul and a double team block, it's clear that both these players are grabbing and pulling this player to the ground, and this will still qualify as a takedown hold. So this is a good catch by our line judge. Good job getting the flag down on the field. Where our returner picks up the ball is approximately the 27-yard line. This becomes our line of PSK enforcement. And let's note that the approximate position of this player is position 2, between the left hash and the center of the field. So we want to keep a note of that. Back judges, the lateral position of the PSK spot is your responsibility. So we got to know that ahead of time. On this play, we actually have a fumble too, and we'll get a note on this as well. And after this fumble, we see our back judge's beanbag going to the PSK spot, but we have our side judge's beanbag going to where the fumble is on the play. So it's good to have a second beanbag down to acknowledge we have a fumble. Our returning team recovers the ball, and now we have to enforce our foul. On this play, the correct spot of the enforcement is going to be our PSK spot, which is where the kick ends. We want to use that spot because the foul occurred during the kick. prior to the returning team getting possession of the ball. From the end zone view, you're going to get a better look at our hold. If you watch the right side of the screen, here's our player that's getting fouled, and you see that that second player to come down on white is actually holding the teammate player and drags him to the ground. So once again, good catch by our line judge. This is always going to be a foul on our punt plays. Be mindful of this. Now, where our returner picks up the ball is about the 27. He runs to approximately the 36 before he fumbles the ball. And like I said, we have a Team B recovery. The Team B recovery is important on a PSK foul because if Team B is not going to be the next team to put the ball into play, we do not have a PSK enforcement, and we'll have our beanbag down. That's going to be our spot of enforcement. This beanbag only marks the yard line. Once again, backers, you have to know that lateral position of the ball when the ball is recovered in case we have to enforce a foul from the end of the kick. When we have this foul, we need to make sure we report all this information correctly to our referee. What we need to indicate is that we have a hold on the receiving team. That hold occurs during the kick. And once again, as long as Team B is going to be the next team to put this ball into play, the enforcement is going to be from the spot where the kick ends. The correct enforcement for this would be 10 yards from the 27-yard line, and we should be a position 2 on the field. On this play, we'll look at illegal forward passes beyond the line of scrimmage. When we have an illegal forward pass beyond the line of scrimmage, it is only an illegal forward pass if the passer's entire body has been beyond the line of scrimmage prior to the ball being thrown. Based on this look on the film, I believe we have a correct call for a legal forward pass on this play. When we put the flag down, that flag should be at least 1 yard beyond the line of scrimmage. So on this play, this would be a great spot for this flag. It's indicative of where the ball is released, and it also is 1 yard beyond the previous line of scrimmage, giving a clear indicator that our passer went too far forward before he threw the pass. The foul for a legal forward pass in this scenario is 5 yards and a loss of down. It would then be 3rd down and 5 from the Team B 47-yard line. The last consideration on this play that I want to talk about is a 10-second runoff. Under 2 minutes, if we have an illegal forward pass that ends up incomplete, we automatically have a 10-second runoff scenario. During the 2-minute timeout, this should be one of the scenarios you and your crew talk about during your officials meeting. Let's make sure we recognize this scenario and we properly communicate to the sidelines. Specifically, we want to talk to the Team B sideline first to see if they would want the 10-second runoff, and then we can go back to the Team A sideline to see if they want to call a timeout to prevent the 10-second runoff. Communicating with your crew and communicating with the sidelines about how we're going to enforce this play and a prospective 10-second runoff is going to be key to getting it right and looking good doing it. On this play, we have 3rd and short, and we're going to watch the QB as he escapes the pocket and tries to run for a 1st down. As the QB advances, he breaks his stride, begins a slide. That slide occurs at approximately the 37-yard line, but we see our short wing on the far side of the field move all the way to the 39, while our short wing on the near side of the field is trying to point backwards and go back to the 38-yard line. Both of these spots are incorrect, though. As we watch this play, we want to know exactly when the quarterback breaks strides and gives himself up. and that occurs right here at the 37. We want to recognize this spot because at this point, the defense can no longer tackle or otherwise overtly hit the quarterback once he's given himself up. In exchange for the protection, we also need to make sure we get a proper dead ball spot. We need to recognize these type of plays, and getting the sheer number of snaps under your belt is going to help. When we see a slide, a good rule of thumb is to move at least 1 yard back, and sometimes 2 might even be better. Put yourself in the best situation to cover these plays and recognize and communicate with your partner when you see these situations happening on the field. Let's look at a potential case of targeting. In this play, we're going to key our wide receiver cutting across the middle and the hit by our safety. From this view, we see our side judge has a flag for targeting, and we'll talk about whether we have it or not after we look at the other two views. From one end zone, we can see the hit again. From this end zone, we're going to take a look as well. Now, on this play, we have to remember there are two types of targeting. 913 targeting is targeting with the crown of the helmet. From this angle, it should be clear that the crown of the helmet isn't in play. We can go to our second end zone view as well, and it looks as though our defender approaches our offensive player and hits him with his head up. So 913 targeting is not available on this play. If you want to consider 914 targeting, first we have to consider whether or not we have a defenseless player, and we do. This receiver is still in the process of trying to make a catch, and while trying to make a catch, he is afforded the definition of defenseless player. Now, in addition to having a defenseless player, we also need contact with the head and neck area, as well as an indicator of targeting. And what we don't have on this play is an indicator. Our defender, who is moving towards the receiver heads up, does not crouch, launch, or otherwise apply forcible contact to the head or neck area that would be deemed unnecessary and dangerous. We do a good job communicating as a crew and picking up this flag. This would not be a quality call, and when we have targeting, we want to make it big. A good rule of thumb is to always communicate with your two partners on this play. For our side judge, our back judge, and our head linesman are going to be the pair you want to talk to. If neither one of them has targeting, it's probably a good idea to pick up your flag. That'll wrap up our video review for week 6. Remember to stay poised on the field, be confident in your rules knowledge and mechanics, and try your best on every single play. Stay focused, see the ball, and have a great Saturday. Enjoy it, everyone.